Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, Megan Hardy, and I am the founder of Fitness Uncharted. And if you're new here, then welcome. And if you're a regular, you've been around a minute, then you know what we're about. I created Fitness Uncharted as a women's health and fitness coaching company designed to help you build muscle, lose fat, and improve your metabolism so that you can feel healthy and confident in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. And I wasn't actually planning on recording today. This is not the normal day that I record my podcast, but I just had something just placed on my heart that I felt, the urge to talk about today. So I don't even know what the episode title is going to be called yet, but it's just going to be like some real talk for you guys today. Okay. And so also you get me in my full glory, like my hair, if you are watching this like video wise, then like hair, or you could probably envision it if you're just listening. But hair is in a side braid that I did because I don't know how to French braid my own hair. So it's like an ugly little side braid that's like nice and frizzy. I have like this one pimple on my forehead that's like painful and doesn't want to pop. It's one of those like, like there's my twin on my forehead because it's so big. And just looking cute, aka not. But actually I'm gonna share a little story with you guys first before we jump on in. I was talking with a friend in the gym this morning. And she's a gym friend, but she's in our free Facebook group as well. And she was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this steps challenge because we're doing like a 5-day steps challenge this week. And so we were talking about that. And then anyway, she was just basically saying how encouraging or motivating I am for her. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then we got to talking, and I told her about a story of someone else who was on a nutrition consult call with me. And that person is now a client. But her and I were on like our first like discovery nutrition consult together. And and when I asked her, so I will often ask people like, hey, like, what is it that, resonated with you? Like, why did you decide to get on this call with me? Because I want to know, like, I know there's so many coaches and trainers out there. I always want to know, like, what was it for you that resonated with you? Like, why were you drawn to me versus the next person? Right. And so this one person who is, like I said, now a client, I will leave them nameless. Um, but although she should take credit for this because like I thought it was hilarious. But one of her reasons for wanting to talk to me and versus like another coach, which meanwhile she might have talked to other coaches prior to talking to me. I don't know. But she was like, like I don't know, just like some of the other girls I follow on social media and like some of the other like influencers and stuff. She's like, they're just like and other coaches, fitness coaches. She's like, they're just like so put together. I don't know. She was like, they look like so perfect. Like their hair is always perfect. And literally as she's saying this, I can tell she's trying to backtrack because she's like, oh shoot, realizing that by her saying they're this one way, she's kind of saying like, I'm not. She was like, because you're like so relatable and they're just like, but they're like so like perfect looking and like they always have their hair done and blah, blah, blah. As she's like trying to continue to like make it sound like a compliment. She's like, and I'm like, I start dying laughing. I was like, I totally get it. I am not the girl. I am not the social media chick with the perfect hair. And I rock that. Like, you are not offending me whatsoever. Like, I was just dying. I was like, I love it, actually, that's something that you felt was relatable for you. She's like, I don't know. She's like, you just seem like a human. Like, you seem like a real human. And, not like this perfectly done up person all the time. So anyway, I thought that was hilarious. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just your real coach with the like, you know, ugly hairdos or like the real coach who has no idea how to do her hair and makeup. Like that is me, 100%. Like I don't know how I survived. Like I grew up in dance and like, did dance competitions and grew up, in dance recital world and even danced at my university and whatever. I'm like, I don't know how I got away this long in life without knowing how to do my hair or makeup, other than the fact I always relied on other people to do it. Like my cousin is literally a cosmetologist and her and I danced growing up and she did my hair and makeup for my wedding. Like, I think it's because I relied on other people in my life to help me out with that. But anyway, That's me. I just accept it. That is my identity. I am that coach who, relatable human. So, anyway, I thought that was hilarious. Wanted to share with you guys. But what I really want to talk about today is something that came up because, like I said, we're doing a step challenge this week, the week that I'm recording right now. So again, I post these out like a few weeks, so it'll probably be well past it at this point, when it's released, when this episode's released. But anyway, we do a bunch of step challenges in our group. So anyway, this one is a 5-day challenge. And this is currently, as I record, let's see, what is this? This is day 4 of the challenge. But on day 2 of the challenge, I had one woman in the challenge, and it was a free challenge to join, super low key. You just show up to the group. You like post your steps in the group, like for accountability each day. And literally that's it. Like that's just accountability. And then by the end of the challenge, I'm going to pick 5 people to do nutrition consults with, just to go over their current nutrition and lifestyle and give them some basically action steps and a game plan for the next few weeks going forward. So, and the only qualification is, hey, you just have to complete the challenge. It's extra incentive to get your steps in. And the step goals that they're setting are based off of their own baseline average, and then they can set whatever goals they want. So like say for instance they would normally get 7,000 steps per day average, maybe set a goal of 8,000 and like a stretch goal of 9 or 10,000, right? So it's not, there was no like, hey, you have to hit 20,000 steps every day, anything like that. Like it was all based off of you and based off of, what is manageable with, your goals and your lifestyle. So anyway, with that being said, that was context for you. This one woman, said that she commented on one of the posts in the group and was like, "Hey, like, thanks so much for the challenge. I'm already failing though. Like, already failing at it. This was just 2 days in, guys. She was like, I'm already failing and like just I've like totally out of the game right now. So like but I totally want to join the next one. Like I'll do better on the next one." And, my response to her was like, hey, it's not over yet. Like, you can still finish strong, or you can still, you know, focus on what you can do right now. We still have 3 days left in this challenge. And so I was like, man, it's like, I think that we all oftentimes, a lot of us do that in our fitness journey. It's like, man, it's just that throw in the towel mentality when things don't go according to plan and we get defeated. And I'm like, you literally you're the only way that you can fail is if you quit. And so she was quitting. And I'm like, no, just keep going. Just keep doing what you can do. Even if you set a goal and you don't quite hit the goal, just because you didn't hit the goal doesn't mean you failed. Like you just missed the mark, but you still probably made improvements, or you're going to learn better for the next time. And so, that's where even my encouragement for my step challengers, like if we want to talk specifically about steps, right? So if you're someone who has a hard time hitting your step goals, or you feel defeated when you don't, or whatever, I was like, hey, instead of going, and saying at the end of the day, like, oh man, I'm nowhere near my step goals. Shoot, like I suck. Instead, it's like, okay, let's say you have a 10,000 step goal. And let's say it's just a crazy day and you can't get 10,000 steps. And you look at the end of the day, like you've just been on calls all day, like swamped. You could barely eat or drink anything because it was just one of those crazy days. Okay. Whatever that looks like for you. All the kids are throwing up on all the walls, all the dogs are pooping everywhere, whatever. Okay. Like your craziest day, you in the day, it's like, okay, it's 8 p.m. and you have 3,000 steps and your goal is 10,000. And you're like, oh my gosh, today sucked. But guess what? If it's 8 p.m. and you have 3,000 steps, why not run around the kitchen island and try to get 4,000 steps, or play with your kids a little bit and try to get, 500 or 1,000 steps to up your step goal just a little bit, or to up your steps for the day just a little bit. At least you'll end the day with 4,000 steps instead of 3,000 steps, right? So it's like just focus on the little things that you can do instead of throwing in the towel. Like I think especially as women, but that perfectionist mentality of if I can't do it all, or if I can't do it exactly how I was intended to or planned to or whatever, we just throw in the towel. And that is literally the only way that you can fail, is by doing that. Instead, like, and talk about also even psychologically, like be the person that doesn't do that. Like be the person that will figure out a way, or will at least figure out, okay, what can I do? And because even by being that person, you're going to build your confidence. Even if it's not perfect, you know that you're at least not the person who just settles, and you're not the person who just accepts defeat, right? Do not accept defeat. I don't know what I'm going to name this episode yet, but maybe it's that. Do not accept defeat. Real talk, like figure out what you can do and don't throw in the towel. Okay. And if that woman happens to be listening to this episode, next time, hun, you are not going to quit if things don't go according to plan and aren't going perfectly. Like just keep going. And it's not going to look perfect most of the time. That's the thing. Even when clients join my program, I'm like, "Hey, things are going to get really hard in about 6 weeks, right?" Okay, cool. Because things are going to hit the fan and not go according to plan. You're also going to like lose that shiny object syndrome. It's not going to be quote unquote fun and shiny anymore. Like just get ready for that to happen. And like, let's figure out plan B, C, D, and E. Okay. And the other example I want to give you guys too is just even personally, I have had been really sick and now have like a rib injury from getting so sick. When we're traveling most recently, we went to Florida. I had a conference, and like a work conference out there. And then I got some kind of, I don't know what it was. I got tested for strep. That was negative. I have no idea what it was, but I don't think it was bacterial. It might have been viral. I don't know if it was allergies. Our Airbnb had terrible air quality. And then the rental car that we had was like smelled awful of smoke, like suffocating. And I don't know if it was just that plus allergy pollen season in Florida. I'm from Virginia, so maybe different pollens or allergens. I don't know. I was messed up. I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks because I was just coughing so hard for 2 weeks. So, all that to say, now I have coughed my ribs out of place. So, I'm currently seeing it working with a chiropractic office locally. Praise God for them. Um, and that's been helping. But they were like, oh, yeah, like your ribs have shifted forward. They're like, when we see oftentimes they shift backwards for people, they're like, but yours have shifted forward. So basically, like my whole right boob is very, very sore. Sneezing is like, oh my gosh, I dread sneezing. I'm like, no, 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 please, please don't sneeze because it hurts so bad. If I still have kind of a lingering cough. If I have to cough, that's the worst. Laying down sucks. Of course, like any movements, like it's gotten so much better in the last like 2 weeks or so. But 2 weeks ago, I couldn't do a whole lot of anything workout wise. So I was anyway, like really sick for 2 weeks. Then I've been dealing with this rib issue for like probably almost a month now. But it's really been starting to improve in the last 2 weeks or so since going to the chiropractor. But as with anything chiropractic care, you have to not only readjust things and get them back in place, but then you need to get it to stick and to stay. So that's what we're working on right now to get my ribs to like go back where they're supposed to. So anyway, that being said, it was so frustrating because there was a lot of things I could not do in the gym. Like for my workouts, I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do? Like with my upper body, like even holding weight and having that pull on like my pec or lats in that area, like under my armpit, like all the way from my boob to my back shoulder blade area, very painful. And then also I've been dealing with some other health medical things where I can't do much lower body weight. So like between my ribs and everything else going on, like I can't deadlift, like I can't pull and do like RDLs or sumo deadlifts. Like even using the squat bar was difficult because of my ribs, like putting my arms behind me to hold the bar to squat. So for a couple weeks, I was just using the Smith machine because it was more stable. And I didn't have to worry about my ribs so much, or like balancing and using my ribs. I could really make sure I was isolating my legs. But I haven't been able to do super heavy weight or anything for my upper body. I'm like, okay, what can I do each day, even, each week I'm kind of testing like what am I capable of today without pushing it too hard. And so I figured out, okay, I was able to do some cable work for like my triceps, and I had to really focus on, okay, executing without using. It's so crazy how much other parts of your body want to be incorporated. Like my pec would start to kind of flex. And I'm like, ow, I need to make sure I'm really using just my triceps, right? But I was able to do some cable work. I figured out a few bicep things I could kind of do if I kept my elbows really nice and tucked in. I've been figuring out what I can do. As of this week, I actually was able to do some pull ups again. I was like, oh no, I'm going to lose all my pull ups with this. So that was really exciting. Granted, probably pushing it a little too much there yet. I still can't do push-ups. I tried some knee push-ups today and I was like, nope. After like 5 or 6, I was like, that is a no-go. But all that to say, guys, is like I could very well just be like, oh my gosh, so frustrated at all the things I can't do. Like I literally feel like every exercise I've had to modify or change because of my stupid rib situation. Because whether it's holding weight and that's pulling on my body, so like just literally holding weight in my hands, I still can't do like overhead press type stuff, lateral raises. That's hard. And then of course, like anything, using my upper body can be challenging to do upper body work. So it's like, oh my gosh, I could get so frustrated and just throw in the towel and be like, nope, I quit. But no, I figured out some things that have worked. And like each day I kind of just test it out. I'm like, all right, like I'm improving some little by little with my ribs. And so let me see what I can do today. And I'm very excited, like I said, to get some pull ups back. Still no push-ups. That's a bummer. But it's like, okay, what can I do? And of course I've been walking. So like if someone is in the same situation and you're like, there's so much I can't do, can you walk? Because at least get your steps in, at least get your walking in. So what's actually funny is walking actually was hurting because like any jostling from each step walking was like pulling my boob/ribs downwards. And it was like, that like subtle movement. I was like, ah. But anyway, with that being said, the essence of this episode is if you don't quit, then like you can't fail. Like you cannot fail if you don't quit. And I think so many people just they do quit. They throw in the towel. They get frustrated, things aren't going according to plan and they throw in the towel. And the thing is, guys, like there's something to be said. If something is not working, yeah, if you just keep doing the same freaking thing, okay, that's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. Yeah, okay, that's kind of crazy. But if something is not working, don't give up, don't quit, but just change your tactic. Change what you're doing. Figure it out. Like don't throw in the towel. Like what I'm going to leave you with today on this episode so I don't keep ranting is focus on the things that you can control. Number one. So like my challenger who wanted to throw in the towel and quit, she was just like, I have failed so far. And I'm like, that is the worst mentality right there. Like you focus on what you can do. On what you can do. Maybe you can't do it all. Maybe you can't hit the initial goal that you set, but what can you do? Okay. Like focus on what you can do. Like I have so many things that I can't do right now working out. And it's annoying. I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating. But what can I do? Right. Number two is just strive to become 1% better every day. So, like, in whatever way that looks like, that little 1% adds up so much over the course of a year. So, like, don't try to move mountains overnight. Like, that was the other thing I saw in our step challenge was some ladies, I was like, okay, I encourage you to set step goals that you could actually maybe sustain after the challenge too, because that would be awesome. But I love your ambition. But they were saying, like, let's just say, for instance, just for easy numbers, maybe they were getting 5,000 steps and they're like, I'm going to set a step goal of 15,000 steps for the challenge. And I'm like, again, love your ambition, but like I would rather you set like an 8,000 step goal and then like learn the consistency and do that after the challenge versus having like a sprint. Like that really setting a 15,000 step goal when you normally get 5K is like having a 5-day sprint, right? Versus like having that 8K marathon that's going to get you better results in the long run, right? So don't underestimate that 1% better every day. Most people are like, oh my gosh, if I don't see massive changes or make massive leaps and bounds in 1 week or 1 day or 1 month, they're like, oh, I'm not making any progress. Yeah, you are. You just don't see it yet. And I love the example. Coach Jen gives this example of an ice cube where like the melting point of an ice cube, I don't remember what the temperature is, so I'm not going to try to even say a number because that's embarrassing. But whatever the melting point is for an ice cube, when it's still cold enough for the ice cube to stay in ice form, people don't notice any changes, right? So like the temperature could be rising, it could be getting warmer and warmer and hotter, but nothing, it looks like nothing's happening to the ice cube, but it's actually getting warmer each degree, warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer. And then finally, the warmth increases enough for the ice to start to melt. So that's the physical sign of the results and the changes that are happening. But most people are just looking for those physical telltale signs of change and not taking into account all the change that's happening behind the scenes and under the surface, right? So like think of that ice cube when you want to throw in the towel. It's like, no, you might be getting 1 degree better or 1% better. And it's not just showing, like, you're not seeing the fruit of your labor yet, but it will come. Like compounding interest means it's going to come if you just keep going and keep getting 1% better. So strive to become 1% better every day. And then last but not least is to learn from others who have gone before you. This is so huge. Like I said, if you are doing something, it's not working and you just keep doing it, that is kind of insane. But if you change up your tactic, then you can actually see success and results. The problem is a lot of people don't know what to do or how to change up their tactics. And this is where a coach or a mentor comes in place. They come in handy. Like I personally work with business coaches and content coaches because I'm like, you know what? I want you to teach me the right tactics to use, and I don't want to have to try to figure this stuff out on my own. Yeah, is it all out there on Google? Yeah, it is. But I'll spend a lot of time and waste a lot of time trying to figure it out versus learning from someone who is 2 steps ahead of me, someone who has been there and done that, someone who has a proven system that I can just implement and know that it's going to work for my business because they understand the ins and outs of this thing better than I do. That is where a coach or a mentor comes in handy. So like go seek out that help, invest in yourself and get a coach. I don't care whether that's me or that's someone else, but like if you've been stuck or you're struggling to see results or you're struggling to stay consistent or you just need that accountability and support or you need the game plan and to know what to do so you don't have to keep floundering around, get a coach. Like it'll be the best investment you have ever made. Like a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I could spend money on. Yeah. And guess what? Those things are probably going to lose their value. Like the day, let's say like a car, the day you drive it off a lot, that car loses like half its value, right? Or your iPhone or whatever. Like those things lose value so fast. But whenever you invest into yourself, that never loses value. Never. Like that compounds interest and actually gains value over time. And also the time you saved of trying to figure it out on your own, you can now actually like pour your efforts into the next big thing and the next thing and the next thing for more success. So obviously I'm passionate about that. I have invested into myself so much in the last like 5 years. It's unbelievable. Like I can't even actually believe the amount of money that I've invested into coaches for myself. But the ROI, the return on investment, has been worth it every single time. So anyway, get yourself a coach if you need one, if you're stuck, but even family, friends, acquaintances, Facebook groups. If you're not in my free Facebook group, go join that immediately. The link is in the show notes for that. But like, go get yourself around a community of people or even a person who is where you want to go, who is doing the thing that you want to be doing and learn from them. That's the other thing you can learn from a coach. But, you can also find those people in your community or friends of friends, whatever, but get yourself around those people so that you can stop accepting defeat. Right. Like that is the thing. That is what this episode is about, is stop accepting defeat, focus on what you can control, try to get 1% better every day and move the needle. That's it. Okay. So anyway, guys, that is my rant for this evening when I'm recording this. I have Chipotle coming for me. My husband just went to pick that up. So I'm gonna get out of here and stop ranting and raving to go eat my Chipotle. So I hope you guys got something out of this. If you do need any help, please feel free to DM me. My social media handles are in the show notes. You can also book a call with me. You can, book a call and just like my current client, tell me about how, you relate because I have messy hair or whatever. So anyway, guys, I hope you had an amazing day and I will catch you guys on the next episode.